Watch the whole video to find all the hidden anime girls. What is something North America generally does better than Europe? Win wars. Am I right? USA USA USA. We do tend to freedom the duck out of people on a regular basis. It's not a physical thing, but North America does optimism better. I've lived in 3 countries and 3 continents so far, including Europe and North America. There is something in the air in North America, this includes Canada, that instills a sense of go for it in me. As vague as it sounds, I found that in the EU, the idea of doing something on your own immediately leads to a sense of no way, that will work out. The flip side is that this feeling rarely translates to reality. It's like North America is one big coddling parent that tells you you can do whatever and you will be great at it, while the system is the same as the EU. Mexican food and barbecue. Delicious smoked barbecue. Provide a tall glass of cold water as soon as you are seated at a restaurant. In Europe they are way too into bottled water and fancy water. I just want to chug some tap water, it's so refreshing. I noticed this in Germany. They never give you enough water either, on top of it coming in a fancy bottle. How do people live on such small amounts of water? I drank more from the hotel sink than I did at restaurants. The whole sparkling versus flat water thing also didn't make sense to me. I really don't like carbonated water, but everyone in Germany seemed to prefer it to flat water. French toast. French fries. I would say cartoons. I have to hand it to you guys, your animations are brilliant. The Simpsons, seasons 1 to 8 for me. South Park, which just has me questioning, did I just see that? And King of the Hill, with what I call assassination humor. It's subtle, and suddenly out of nowhere bam, you split your sides laughing. Yep, you guys have great cartoons, I tell you what. Talking. I visited the US 2 years ago, and people were so friendly and talkative. I can't recall last time someone small talked with me in Sweden. Winning the Super Bowl. Out of all the Super Bowls, the US has won every single one. European who lived in the States for a few years. Just my opinions, of course. I lived mainly on the West Coast, LA, and Seattle mainly, but traveled around the country a fair bit. 1. Bars, free pouring. Passion for beer, even amongst the ladies, which is much rarer where I'm from. Seating at the bar counter, better lighting, generally less aggression in the bar. Fooders, generally speaking, better. 2. Cars give you right of way when you're walking and let you go. Goes along with the outward friendliness of US culture, which I liked. 3. Much less of a class system. Most jobs are respected or romanticized in some sense. 4. Appreciation of your country and its beauty. Hiking is such a alien concept to me, but while I politely declined every invitation, I think the idea of it is very pleasant and human. There's a load more, but I'm sleepy. Generally have very warm memories of my time there, a lovely country in so many ways. Not adding a bunch of unnecessary letters to words. From what I've heard about Northern America, people are more open / more likely to talk to you. Crazy ideas, that can be good, doesn't have to. Burgers. Despite the attention that we get and how much we talk about race, we are far less racist and xenophobic than Europe. Half of Europe is homogeneous and the other half thinks the immigrants are destroying their countries. Jazz, blues and jazz. I will forever be indebted to the USA. Military innovation, specifically aerospace engineering and its applications. Canada definitely does multiculturalism better than France. Making websites, for instance Reddit. Bitch please, we made the whole fucking internet. Theme parks. Cedar Point is the best place in the world if you love roller coasters. Putting ice in drinks. Sometimes too much ice. Looking at you Raisin Canes, they literally fill the entire cup with ice and pour soda. The amount of soda you actually drink is 1/3 of the cup size. Edit, I'm talking about the drive-thru. They give too much ice at the drive-thru. A lot of the things that get brought up on Reddit as Europe being much better are actually double-sided. For instance, there is always some post talking about how European labor laws are better than the US. However, if the US had European strict labor laws, we would not have nearly as many startups. Another thing in this vein is education. The US has the absolute best higher education in the world. Hell, my hometown, Boston, has 2 universities alone typically rated #1 and #2. However, that level of quality is really hard to maintain if it becomes a public utility. You see that all over in the US, where the top educational opportunities at any level are the absolute best in the world, but the worst are pretty bad. National parks. Patriotism. Finally, where I see the US having a true advantage over Europe is in our acceptance of failure. In the US you can fail in business, in life, in spirituality, or anything, and it is not the end of your life. Americans love a comeback/redemption story. The entire startup culture is obsessed with failure as a positive. Overall, I think the US and Europe tend to do things differently, but not really better/worse. Some people would absolutely benefit more in one system or the other, but to say one system is absolutely better than the other seems simple. What I like about USA, you have great spirit. You have great energy. You have some very ancient nature and wilderness in the outback. You are the first superpower in history that is mostly pretty much nice, and not just a total genociding duck fart like, for example, Rome or Imperial Russia or England, or every one of them. Also, I like your food. We got our genociding out of the way early in our history, honestly. Landing on the moon. Representatives of American and Canadian businesses understand the ramifications of bad word of mouth and generally try hard to prevent it from happening, one customer at a time. Monopolists like cable companies are the exception. They don't care because they know no one can touch them. If you are unhappy with a purchase, you simply return it and get your money back, no questions asked. If the movie you go to see disappoints you in the first half hour, you ask for a ticket to a different movie. If the airline you flew with can't find your luggage on time, they give you money to buy new toiletries, clothing, and medicine. If you have a pizza delivered and you're dissatisfied, they'll remake it or give you a refund. Sadly, none of the above is common in the Western European countries I've lived in. And now that I live in India, I think back fondly of European customer service. In India, if you complain, they'll simply pretend they don't understand or give you a lame excuse. Use a period as a decimal place rather than a comma. This may sound crazy to some, but I'm going to say it. Beer. No, not Budweiser and Miller, but craft beer. I really think that American and Canadian microbrews have a lot more variety and innovation. Europe has a long tradition, but I really believe North America stepped up its game some years ago. Not only craft beer, Yuengling and Sam Adams are 2 of the best beers in terms of taste to price ratio. We didn't invent beer, but damn did we perfect the culture of it. Making money. Some of America's companies are richer than some European countries, never mind their companies. That being said, some of our states are bigger than most European countries. Freight. The US railroad network is in many ways superior to that of any other nation. Everybody just thinks it's crap because it takes forever to take the train somewhere. Yeah, it does. But that's because a few million tons of stuff has higher priority on the rails than you do. Ice cream flavor variety. Seriously, my English friends are always amazed when I tell them about the varieties. You have conventions in like every state it seems, while here in Denmark we have 0. No caste system. We're all now though rich here. We are temporarily embarrassed millionaires. Make movies. Why hasn't anyone said music? We have an amazing history of music and have outdone the entire world combined. The Brits have contributed mightily, I'll give them that, but we have given the world Louis Armstrong, Ella Fitzgerald, Billie Holiday, Glenn Miller, Elvis, Buddy Holly, Otis Redding, Dave Brubeck, Earl Scruggs, Hank Williams, Johnny Cash, The Supremes, Madonna, Beyonce, Eminem, Dr. Dre, Bob Dylan. Whatever your tastes, a North American musician has done something awesome. We are pretty good at having respect for the conservation and appreciation of nature. I mean, we have some beautiful nature parks. Even Central Park is worth my time. Sports. American sports have a draft, which leads to parity. More space and fewer countries. Late to the party, but I have to mention superheroes. Batman, Spider-Man, the Hulk, Iron Man, X-Men, Superman, and of course Captain America. The Europeans don't have anything that can compete with that. Hell, the aliens and extra-dimensional monsters never even screw with Europe because they know they need to take out our guys. It goes without mentioning that they always fail. Making cheap goods available for cheap and allowing people to buy stuff readily. Seriously, a can of pop costs like $2 in Italy. Also, customer service is better here. Lastly, I find that America is ahead in terms of technology. The bureaucracy in many European countries is very unorganized. Americans on average have been brought up to have more self-esteem/confidence. It can be annoying at times, but generally I think is a good trade to have to live more fulfilling life. And of course movies and television series, a lot of great entertainment for the whole world to enjoy. Till the US is the only country in North America. Software. Sure, Linus made the kernel while in Finland, but he's an American citizen now, so it's ours too. Every other major operating system comes from here. Most of the biggest websites were incubated here. The world's most talented programmers, if not native to here, have a tendency to move here. We have one of the dumbest populations in the Western world according to test scores, but we dominate one of the most intellectually demanding industries. Go figure. Comment what the best or worst story was. Also remember to subscribe for more Reddit and anime girls.